Welcome back, guys. Today we are again in the workshop with the CB, with the XJ. The workshop is getting full today. We've still got the XJ in here. The CB has been pulled in so we can start work on that. But that doesn't matter, we're gonna have some fun. And let's get this little CB125 fixed. So in the last video, we fitted this thing that cost £50 and was an absolute total heap of junk. It was supposed to regulate and rectify. I've been having issues with the electrics, if you hadn't noticed. We did actually work out what the problem was with the electrics, and it wasn't as easy as I first thought. It wasn't just too high voltage. It was a number of things. It was to do with the battery I was using, the rectifier, and even down to the bulbs. It was basically a case of me not having the original battery and the original rectifier, because they work together to create a nice even 6 volts or 6-7 volts. But because I took away the battery and I had the battery eliminator, that caused all sorts of troubles. Then we switched it back to this battery, which is an AGM sealed unit battery. Because we use this and the original regulator rectifier, again, those two things do not work together. The way the original system works is the rectifier basically rectifies the current from DC to AC current, I think it is anyway, changing the cranking volts out of the engine, which is quite high, which is about 20 plus depending on the revs and stuff. And then it goes through the rectifier, changing it into a DC or AC current, I can't remember which way it is, but then also goes through the battery, and then it boils the battery acid to then dampen down the voltage even more so. So with this battery, it wasn't doing it. What actually happened was it would just go in and it's frying these batteries because the ampage was too high. I know it's been a really long process, but we have finally kind of worked it out. And to be honest, I've learned so much along the way doing this. And this is what it's all about. We learn and we remember, and for next time, I won't be making that mistake. And we do have some new parts to go on, which should fix it, hopefully. So you're probably thinking, if those things aren't going to work, what are you going to do to fix it all? Let me show you what I've bought to fix it. So this thing here, it's an interesting one. It is a regulator where you are able to adjust the voltage and the current. Now, it's interesting because you can go as low as 3, I think it is, and as high as 40. I'm not gonna lie, I have already plugged it in and had a try, and it works, and I've even adjusted it accordingly just so I know I'm within the ballpark figure of where I need to be, so that there's no danger of me blowing anything else. Now this thing here, is to work alongside the original rectifier, so they have to be wired in sequence correctly, otherwise we could do some serious damage. But I'm not worried about that. I am quite confident that we can get all this figured out and fixed. Just remember, this is still trial and error. This is still figuring it all out and making sure everything works before we do the final rundown of the wiring, because everything's going to be heat wrapped, everything's going to be hidden from the elements. Because I know a lot of you are saying with using the spade connectors that I bought were wrong, but if you do it properly, it'll work, it'll last. They're all going to get heat shrinked, they're all going to be wrapped up and tucked away. You know, they're not going to see the day of light at all. So calm your tits, just get this bike running and get it out on the road so we can have some fun. Finally. Now, this is just a bare circuit board, as you can see, but we are going to be making a 3D printed housing for it, and we'll get to that a bit later on. But for now, we are going to go and get to the wiring, put everything in place, make sure everything works, get the bike running, and then we can start tidying the wiring up. Anyway, less talking. Let's crack on. So we've got it all wired into a point where it should work. I'm going to try and kick it over now and see the power output and if I need to adjust it anymore. I did say I've already adjusted it enough, but it did need a little bit of tweaking. I'm quite excited, to be honest, because this is like a very unusual component to use on a bike or a build like this. I've tried to keep all the wires as neat as possible, and I'm quite happy with all the connection I've made. We're going to just be a case of, once we know it all works, we're going to get it all wrapped up nicely, but for now, let's just see if we can get it by running. Okay, fuel. So you can see we have sorted it. It's a little bit on the high side, but again, I can adjust it. All the lights are working, they're not blowing, which is good. They're not getting brighter when you rev the engine. It's all good. I am super happy. So all we need to do now is get a nice little housing made for it. So let's go to our friend over at Rushworth Performance, who you know, and sort that out now. So we are back here at Rushworth Performance. Matt, he's a man of many talents, and we're going to be doing something a little bit different. So you may know him for all his CNC machining and cool stuff like that, but today we're going to be looking at 3D printers. This little thing obviously isn't going to be very good open to the elements, and I need to obviously somehow protect it. So what better way to do than 3D print a little housing for it, so we can expose the fins and just hide all this circuitry away from the elements. So I'm going to leave it in the capable hands of Matt to design it and get it printed, and hopefully we can get some cool footage of this thing being printed. So that's the design side done. Cool. Let's get this thing on the printer and get this box made. So before we get this top plate on, we need to wire in the 4 wires, the 2 in, 2 out, and then we can get this bolted on, get it all locked in place, and then we can see the final moment of truth is, will the light work, will the lighting work, and will the bike start, and will everything just work? I really like things like this because it's an out-of-the-box thinking solution to a problem that shouldn't really be there, but because of the way I have done this wiring, it just happened. It just happened. I don't know if this will benefit you in any way, but you can see what I've done and the process of making this bike run. So yeah, let's get this thing fitted. So I don't have any mounting solution for it as of yet, other than a cable tie. I'm thinking I'm going to go down the route of getting some Velcro so I can stick it to the underside of the seat. Maybe make a tab, something like that. But yeah, it's in place for now, and I just want to see if this thing works. So I am going to call that a success. The voltage is there, it's not through the roof anymore, we've got lights, they're not glowing. Oh, you don't understand how good it feels to see this thing working. Of course, we're going to need to take it for a ride. But anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you're looking forward to seeing more videos with the CB of it running and riding. I hope you're looking forward to seeing some moto vlogs and looking forward to seeing this bike in action, as it well should be. Thank you very much for all your support. To all you Patreons out there, thank you very much. There's so much on there and I can't wait for you two guys to get behind this awesome community that we're building. Subscribe if you're new and I shall see you in the next video. Peace.